My name is Cauy.
And my name is Harrison.
And we're just two gay Native Americans living in Arizona.
I'm a filmmaker.
And I'm an upcoming makeup artist.
And we both have a love for cinema.
Come join us as we discuss new and old movies.
Welcome to Two Spirit Movie Reviews. Hello, welcome back to Two Spirit Movie Reviews. I'm Harrison.
And I'm Cauy.
And today we are talking about The Farewell. A Chinese family discovers their grandmother has only a short while left to live and decide to keep her in the dark, scheduling a wedding to gather before she dies. This is written and directed by Lulu Wang and is based on an actual lie.
Oh, that's why it said in the beginning.
Yep. So, The Farewell. You know, I did not hear about this movie until my auntie told me about it. I think we may have seen a poster over at Harkins Camel View, which kind of caters to the more independent movies. So they had like a big old sprawl poster of it on a wall. And I thought it looked pretty quirky. I don't think I would have seen it in theaters had I not heard so much positive word of mouth. So, again, we lied in the last podcast. This podcast obviously is not reviewing scary stories to tell in the dark or Dora the Explorer. Instead, we'll be talking about this movie, The Farewell. So, let's talk about us leading up to watching it. Huh?
Okay, so I wasn't really interested in the movie at first. It just never really caught my attention. I didn't even know about this movie at all. I didn't even know. I never seen any trailers or anything for this movie, so I thought it was just a movie that's to be left in the dark. Until Harrison told me, until the day that some coworkers of Harrison were telling him if they have watched the movie, and he said no, and they said it was a pretty good movie. So he decided to check it out on his phone. And it turns out that it got 99% on Rotten Tomatoes from 190 critics. And also a large audience, rated the movie positive. So we decided to just check it out.
Yeah, this was just like last Sunday with, what did we watch last Sunday?
What did we watch?
We watched The Art of Self-Defense.
Oh, okay.
I guess Sunday's reserved for independent movies because we went and watched this movie, and that was pretty much the story right there. I didn't really know much about it aside from seeing the poster at Camel View, like I said, and it wasn't until I actually watched the trailer that this was a movie that I wanted to see, mainly because of the casting of Awkwafina. Which, if you don't know her, you definitely know her from one of the supporting characters in Crazy Rich Asians.
She was the giddy up person, right?
Yeah, she was the she's the Lambo, and she has all the suits in her trunk for all occasions.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I actually knew her before that as a voice actress in Steven Universe, so that was real fun to see that. I didn't even know she was Asian, so that was great. But apparently she's a rapper.
Oh, really?
She is a rapper, and she started out as a rapper, and I don't know, I could be wrong. I think she went to being a stand-up comedian to a comedy actress and a lot of stuff. To now she's in she's like a indie starlet now with this movie, you know? Because I mean, from Crazy Rich Asians, you always kind of saw her as, the quirky character, Yeah. She is cast because she is funny, and here she's not hilarious. She's actually a really deep thought out character with a lot of motives behind her emotionally. And it's not your typical Awkwafina character. She's not going to be walking into a party with a bunch of suits on. She is very, very subdued, very level-minded, and just very practically normal. So the fact that she actually has that huge range from comedy to drama is perfect. It's amazing.
Yes.
Which I guess I guess that's it for characters. Aside from the grandmother, who is such a sweetheart. She is probably the epitome of everyone's grandma in their mind.
Oh, she was an adorable character.
Yeah.
I love the part where she was talking shit about the I don't know if she was Chinese too, but the brother's wife.
Oh, her grandson's wife.
Yeah.
The Japanese lady.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, because there's a scene where they're taking engagement photos for the wedding, and she's like trying to guide them. But you see, that's the whole thing about this movie, is that the trailers really sort of made it out as a fun, upbeat comedy. Which this movie isn't. It's not like laugh out loud, jokes a minute comedy. If anything, this is like almost 90% drama and 10% comedy.
Comedy, yeah.
A lot of reviews that I read before we started recording this labeled the movie as a I don't know, but a lot of words were thrown around like tragedy, comedy, because it's not a really happy film. Most of what drives the film is going to be the more poignant moments where it's between characters, where essentially all these people are gathering for a fake wedding. The wedding isn't even real. It's staged, so it would give an excuse for all family to come together to say goodbye to this grandmother of theirs. So that's why it's almost an uneasy comedy, because you know why everyone's there, and yet
no one's telling her.
Yeah, no one's telling her that she has cancer, that she's going to be dead in 3 months. It's all sort of like that weird, nervous laughter ensuing, but it's really heartfelt, so I love it kind of a thing. And it deals with a lot of ethics, and we're obviously not Chinese. We are Native American, and we even have our own views on death, particularly when it comes to after they die. Like theoretically, when one of my family members dies, we're supposed to cremate them in their home. So Chinese people, essentially, their belief is that, especially when it comes to situations like this, is that they don't want to tell the person that they are sick and or dying, so they can live a relatively normal life away from without bearing the burden of having to say goodbye to your loved ones.
Yeah.
And that's very beautiful, but that raises a lot of ethical questions. Even in the movie, there were some characters that said, in America, this is illegal.
Oh, yeah.
And
I remember that.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it raised a lot of questions in my mind. Like, would I want to know if I were dying? Would you want to know if you were dying?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, think about it. This will be a spoiler right now, but at least up until the making of this movie, the person that the movie is based on in real life is actually still alive 6 years after she was diagnosed. So, would she have wasted time saying goodbye to people if she lived that long? Or, it's like, wow.
Yeah, damn, waste of time.
Yeah, waste of time being sad when you could actually live your life happily away from grief and sorrow. It's just like...
Yeah.
It raises a whole bunch of ethical questions. This isn't just a typical movie. This isn't like a typical comedy. I wouldn't even label it as a comedy, to be honest. It's a drama. It's just a straight up drama. And a lot of people, I think, were misled by this, because I remember my auntie who told me about this to go watch it was like, it looks really super funny, and I got to tell her that, oh girl, no, you're not. It's not funny. It's funny, but it's not like hilarious. It's like awkward, uncomfortable comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but for a majority of this movie, like maybe a good 60-65% of the movie, I had like wet eyes, because I was like thinking into my own life, if a family member had this, would I be able to deal with this sort of burden? And I was kind of on the verge of tears up until the very end, because that's where it really hit. I don't know if you noticed me, but I was bawling by the end.
No, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
There were a few times where my eyes got watery, but I didn't cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Aw.
I was just like, damn. But the part that almost got me was when the grandmother was saying goodbye.
Yeah,
And
that's what did it. Because for me, when old people cry in movies, I cry. Particularly when it specifically came to this movie, the way she kind of covered her mouth, like, oh no.
I know.
It's like, did she know? But apparently she didn't. But still, it was all like, that's still saying goodbye to your family who you probably will never see again, you know? So it's, in the context of the movie, the characters who are leaving back to America, to them, this is like the last time that they'll see her alive.
Yeah.
You know? So it's driven by that context of the emotion. But for the grandma, it's a whole different thing because she's still reacting as if they're leaving forever too. Her emotional reaction is it's perfect. It's beautiful and it's tragic and I love it. You know, and it made me cry. A lot of people say this is like the tearjerker movie of 2019, and I'm hard pressed to agree because I can't say I've ever been this emotional over a film this year so far. So, but in regards to trivia for this movie, the trailer and the opening of this movie present it as based on an actual lie.
Oh yeah, it said that in the beginning.
Yeah, and while this may be like a dramatized version of that event, this thing has occurred in real life. Writer-director Lulu Wang actually presented a version of this story on an NPR podcast, something called like This American Life, where essentially it's a real-life story of her own grandmother. She got diagnosed with cancer, and the family decided not to tell her, like the movie, in order to just make her be happy for her last few months alive. And even in the real life, she was given 3 months to live. So she takes that from real life and applies it to this movie. And I gotta say, you know, that's when life meets art, because at the end of the movie, again, spoiler, and also in real life, the real grandmother is still alive today, 6 months after her diagnosis. So that's just beauty right there. But I mean, I have a feeling that these movies that we like, because I loved it, I absolutely loved it.
I loved it too.
Like, I'm gonna give it again. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. I couldn't find anything. Not that I was purposely looking for something to be wrong, but nothing really presented itself to be like something that would alter its rating at the end. You know.
Yeah.
So in that case, I kind of give it a 10.
I give it a 10 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would give it a 10. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm actually really glad that we were told about this, and I'm actually kind of still jealous of you because you didn't see a trailer for this either.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I was watching the trailer, but we were eating at that time, so I just put all my focus on the fucking food.
But yeah, this is a beautiful film. This is, it's definitely going to be, I think this may sweep some independent awards, you know, the Independent Spirit Awards, which is like the Academy Awards for the independent world.
Yeah.
A very beautiful, layered, structured performance by Awkwafina, which I was totally blown away by. You know, I was expecting her to be, you know, her character from Crazy Rich Asians. But she was just a wholly different person.
She was really depressed.
She was so depressed. And you got to think about it, like from an actor's point of view, you not only have to act happy, but you have to act happy while being sad.
Yeah.
Because essentially they have to keep up the idea that nothing is wrong, even though everything is horribly wrong, you know? And Awkwafina, and then the Awkwafina character does that so beautifully.
Yeah, and again, with the actress, I didn't expect her I didn't actually know that she can act. This part.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but my idea of her was Crazy Rich Asians. You know,
I thought she was like, I guess I thought she was always gonna be the character in every movie that is involving comedy, to be that that over the top, like acting outrageous character.
Yeah. And that just shows range, you know. The fact that she can pull off this dramatic role coming from a comedic background is great, because I think she may have even sensed that even publicly, you know.
Yeah.
Like, even just whoever said, girl, you do not want to be typecast as that character, you know, because, you know, Hollywood has always given the Asian people like the role of like the nerd and like the virgin, you know, who just can't, you know, just that geeky nerdy guy, you know. And finally, you know, and I think it really started to begin with Crazy Rich Asians, even though that's technically an American Asian movie, and this is also an American Asian movie too. So there's no like movies from Asia about Asians that are on this level, you know, that at least that I know of that are available this widely, you know. So the fact that she's able to pull off these multiple characters, because she's really that eccentric character in the Steven Universe cartoon. She's this eccentric character in the Crazy Rich Asians, and now here we have like an actual human being character with emotions and not just, hey girl, we're gonna go shopping.
Yeah, like, and then bringing out different suits from her Lamborghini.
Yeah.
But yeah, her role in this movie was amazing. She I didn't know that she can act like that. Like, she acted like it was kind of sad. Well, the part that was sad to me was when she was talking about, I think it was her brother or it was her uncle. I think it was. She was like, why haven't, like, she was talking about her uncle with her mom, and her mom was being like trying to, like, I guess how would you describe her? Like,
The mother?
Yeah.
If anything, she's like the much more traditional kind of Chinese mother, where she's very strict and stern, and she can't really afford to show emotion, because to show emotion means to show a weakness, you know. So at that point, she's unable to give her daughter that emotional support, even though she tries. You know. But it's funny because like the only person that can support the Awkwafina character is the grandmother.
She was so adorable.
She was so sweet and adorable and lovable. She's everyone's grandma, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, made me think of my grandma, to be honest.
I don't know. She doesn't really resemble mine.
Oh. Well, I'm not saying she doesn't resemble either, but like the same kind of energy she gives off. You know, the same kind of like loving, like kind of sly, humor, witty kind of a thing, you know? She would be the kind of person to squeeze my cheeks and make me self-conscious about my fat, but it all came from love in a weird way. Even she was like, you stupid girl.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
No, she's like, you stupid child.
You stupid child, yeah, you know?
I like the part where she was teaching her like how, like a little self-meditation when she was putting her hands forward like she's fighting, and she's like, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, and that sort of that closes off the movie too, in a way too. And that's also, I think, what you talk about too, is like maybe the symbology of certain scenes. Because I don't know if you caught on to that, but in the beginning of the movie, when the Awkwafina character is going into her apartment, she left the window open and a little bird got in.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and when she's in China, I'm not saying it's the same bird, but the similar looking bird was in her hotel room. So like, I don't know if that's some sort of symbolic thing in regards, I don't know how the Chinese people look at the symbolism of birds, but I guess in a way kind of like, you know, when you know, there's a saying that your birdies have to leave the nest to go into the world, you know? So it's like maybe in a sense the bird means coming home, you know? Yeah. If that's even something. And even when she's doing the Tai Chi at the end, you know, also there was a big purposely shot, not on accident, but when she does that, the birds fly out of a tree. So it's like there's some symbolism there that I can't quite grasp yet, but regardless, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's just about going to wrap it up for our review of The Farewell. I would definitely suggest seeing it. It's not really a feel-good movie, but it's also an important one. It kind of asks us questions, ethical questions about, you know, it puts you in that situation of the characters. And even though all of the characters are of Asian descent, you can still reflect and apply yourself to their situations in the movie. And I still kind of think 10 out of 10. It's a beautiful movie. I think it's going to win a lot of awards. I hope that at some point it finds its way down into the Academy Awards, whether that's for even acting for Awkwafina. Hell, the grandmother even deserves some recognition.
I know.
She is so sweet and lovely. And maybe best foreign language film, that could be a possibility, but it's definitely going to get a lot of buzz, and I would say it's a little too early for Oscar season because that's like November, December, stuff like that, But I think this is going to get a lot of buzz. This is a beautiful movie, and if you can go watch it, go see it.
It's an emotional, well thought out movie. The performances from the grandmother and also Awkwafina's character really brought the movie to life, and it really complemented each other, especially the little chemistry of a family. Of like the mother and the grandmother and a granddaughter relationship. This movie just connects on the whole family love that they have for each other, especially the grandmother affection to the granddaughter, and it's very heartwarming. There are a lot of scenes that will make you cry, a lot of scenes that will make you tear up. Again, this is it's shown as a comedy movie, but it's more on the emotional side of a comedy movie. Again, like drama, like a lot of drama in this movie. So I would recommend it to go see it with a family member, maybe your mother or your grandmother. It's a very good movie. Maybe you guys will feel the same connection that we felt to this movie. So go ahead and go watch the movie. 10 out of 10 from me.
Yeah. And I feel this is going to get a lot of unfair there's going to be like an unfair comparison between this, The Farewell, and Crazy Rich Asians. These are two wildly different movies. Crazy Rich Asians is more big budget, mainstream, straight up comedy movie. And if it did have to make a comparison, The Farewell is like the low budget indie drama version of Crazy Rich Asians. So if you had to make a comparison, that's what it would be. But these are two wildly different movies, and both of them are great. So go see it. It's great.
Go 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. So now we promise the next podcast is going to be definitely Dora and the Lost City of Gold, and scary movies to tell in the dark. Scary stories to tell in the dark. And in regards to comedic actors taking on dramatic roles, this weekend is also The Kitchen, starring Melissa McCarthy. I don't know if she's did other dramatic roles, but for me, this is going to be my first time looking at her in a dramatic movie, like in a serious role. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Her and Tiffany Haddish and Elizabeth Moss from Us and The Handmaid's Tale. So, or Orange is the New Black, I forget. One of those. Maybe all of them. But okay, this has been a Two Spirit movie review, and my name is Harrison.
And I'm Cauy.
And we bid you adieu. Bye.
This has been Two Spirit Movie Reviews. If you loved what you heard, like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. More platforms will be made available in upcoming weeks. Thanks for listening.